everyone and welcome. My name's Amanda and I'm going to start working in my little sidekick journal. If you've not seen what my sidekick journal is all about, I'll leave a link in the description box below to the video explaining what this is. And then we can get on with crafting. So I am starting on the very first page. Working on your first page can be really overwhelming because you feel like it's the first page somebody's going to see. You don't know what to do, and it's very, very, very common to get stuck on your first page. If that's you, don't start on the first page. Who says you have to start on page 1? Go here, start there, start on in the middle. You can start yours anywhere. I just really like this wallpaper. So I'm going to get some gesso because it's quite a shiny, well, it's got a plasticky surface to it. It's like vinyl. So I'm just going to put some watered down gesso on just to give me a base, and then I'm going to collage with just bits and bobs. I've got some tissue that I've stamped on. I've got some painty paper that I've just added white paint to some Amazon packaging. I've got some leftover digitals from something I've been working on. I've got some genuine vintage bus tickets, some stamps. I've just got a few things out, and scraps that are on my desk as well. So we're just gonna see what happens. So I've done a voiceover on this video because on this particular day when I was doing this page, I just felt like working in silence. Don't ask me why, I just did. I often do work in silence. I don't have music playing or podcasts. I just sit and I just try and be really mindful and just try and focus my brain just on what I'm doing. That's what helps me relax. So there you saw, and I was smooshing that gesso around. That's so that there was no harsh paint lines and it all kind of looks nice and blended. So I've not sped the video up, and I'm doing a voiceover so that I've got a chance to really chat to you about this concept and about how my brain's working. So as I said previously, you don't have to work on the very first page. You can skip through and start on whatever page you like. Now I'm doing a page from start to finish here. You don't even have to do that. I could have just stuck that word in there, that piece of vintage writing, and that could have been it for today. That might have been all I felt like doing. Or I could have got some of the other vintage pages and add some to this page, then flip through the book and have a look at other pages I felt like sticking the same thing to, and work through just with one thing, adding it to different pages, or maybe go through my labels or my flowers and go through various pages. So it's a complete work in progress rather than feeling you have to finish one complete page. That's the really freeing thing about this concept, and that's what I really took on board from watching Willow Wonders. That she flits. That's a Yorkshire word, flits. That means going from one page to another, not necessarily sticking on just one page to completion. And that's a really freeing thing as well, because sometimes you might not feel in the mood for doing a complete page. You might not have an idea or a layout in your brain, or maybe you're just a little bit stressed and you don't really want to have to think about it. And so the idea of completing a full page, even on a small journal, can be overwhelming. So with this journal, what I say is, I might have just stuck those papers down and that's it, and not bothered with the rest of it. Or I might have gone to page 5 or page 14 and just done some stamping on it, and that would be enough for today. So long as you're doing a little bit of something, even if it's just sticking one thing down each day, 2 minutes, and you will come to a conclusion with the journal. It will come to a finish at some point. There's no time constraint. We don't have to do this journal in 1 week. We don't have to do this journal in 1 month. It can sit on our desk forever and 10 days. It doesn't matter. And then as you're going and as you're building your pages up, you'll find your little focal points and you're like, ooh, that will go great on that page. Even when you think you've finished a page, as you're going, you might think, ooh, I know something else really good that could go on there, or whatever. So there's no structure to it. I mean, I'm guilty, and I've kept a structure on this page. I've started it from beginning to end. But the rest of the pages are very much won't. And what I'm going to do and what I plan to do is, when I'm on my quiet time, which is not very often, you know, and I watch a lot of art journal channels at the moment. I love watching Sean Petit. I love watching Lady Mealy, I think she's called. You know, all different ones. Along with my non-creative channels like the Corner House Project and my mudlarking videos. And I'll sit, because I do like to be productive and feel like I'm doing something. I'm not a person that can just sit and just watch the TV and not do something with my hands. My hands have to be doing something all of the time. Don't know why. But I think a lot of creative people are like that. And so I'll just sit. And as I'm watching my videos, I might have some scraps from that day. And I'll just bob about the journal, flipping from one page to another and seeing where I like them. And eventually you'll end up with just pages of collage. And eventually you'll end up with finished, completed pages. There might even be pages where you don't even want to stick an image. Maybe you just want to write a quote or a saying that you've seen somewhere that really resonates with you, or how you're feeling that day. And also these kind of things are really good. Maybe if you want to journal, but you're a bit worried that somebody might see your journal, maybe you want to put some really personal thoughts down. You could write them on the page and then collage over it. You've got those thoughts and those words out of your brain. You've shared them with your journal, and then if you don't want somebody to see them, collage over them, paint over them, or write how you feel in a illegible text. We can all write our name really fast and we know what it says, but nobody else does. Maybe if you've got thoughts or feelings that you want to put down, you could do that, use illegible text. But yeah, it could be a really mindful process, and just enjoy it. And at the same time, experiment with techniques and ways of putting things down and contrast. Here I've added a word with a very black background on purpose, because I've got quite a lot of light things. So the black there brings me a massive pop of contrast to that page. So, think about your techniques as well, but it doesn't have to be, a certain way or a certain thing. You don't have to put certain colours. We can throw the colour theory and colour palette in the bin. You can do what you want. If you want everything the same colour with no contrast, do that. It doesn't matter. Just have fun. So like I say, this page is more like collage, like a kind of glue book. But other pages I might do more painting, or I might do more texture, or I might just do my writing. And I don't do but a lot of personal writing, because I don't like my handwriting. But like I've just said, I could write whatever I'm feeling and then cover it up with collage. How liberating will that feel? And it's just your own little thing. Like I've said before, you don't have to share it with anybody. You don't have to put pictures on Instagram or Facebook. We don't have to share all of our art. We can keep it to ourselves if we want. It can be a very personal thing. So don't feel like you have to share it. But if you want to, as always, I'll be your biggest cheerleader. If you've tried this concept, tag me and I'll always come and watch. There's quite a few ladies on YouTube that are doing my art journaling thingy, and they'll tag me and it comes up, and I'll always go and show some support. So if that's what you want to do, that's great. If you want to share some photos with me privately, you're more than welcome to send them to me via Facebook, okay? Or you want to ask me anything. I can't promise I'll get back to you straight away, but I will always reply. I'm always accessible and I'm always there. So nobody need ever feel like they're on their own in their art journey. If you're not sure about something, you can always message me and I will always get back to you. So don't feel like you're alone and you've got nobody to ask questions of. You can ask questions under this video, and you can ask questions in my Facebook group. There's lots and lots of ways that you can connect with other people. So don't ever feel like you're on your own, because I'll always be there. So there we are, adding some more of that same scrap, but it's different writing. So I'm just layering. I'm not really thinking about it. And then I'm adding a little bit of pencil to it because I just feel like it wants a bit of marks. And I'm like, oh, I think I wanted my Stabilo all, but then I thought, no, I'm just going to use pencil. And I'm just adding, there's no real reason to it. It's not really necessarily adding any artistic fantasticness, but I just feel like I wanted to do it, and so did, because, you know, each our art journal or junk journal or glue journal or collage journal, and you can do whatever you like. And then just as a finishing touch, I'm going to add some splatters. My eyesight's terrible, so I think I went through about 4 different bottles before I found the right colour. If you use these are by Daler and Rona, and they're called FW acrylic inks. Just make sure that if you're using the pipette, that's hard to say, make sure you give it a shake basically, because there's a lot of sediment in the bottom, okay? And I'm just finding a really small brush because I want quite small splatters. And it's going to go on the cover. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Yeah, if it's splattered onto the cover as well, it doesn't matter. Because that will just add interest when I come to collage that bit in the future. So remember to just relax, enjoy it, and have fun with it. And when I do some more pages, I'll come back and share some more with you. Bye for now.